Hello and welcome to another video. Today we're going to continue on editing our GitHub repository. Our GitHub repository is not currently linked to GitHub, but it is a local repository on our machine. So it's what we call a Git repository. So let's imagine we want to link up what we currently have in our repository. There's a few different things we can do. This will cause some issues if it's done correctly at this current stage. And the reason why I say that is these are issues which I want us to have so we can then blend them into our next subject. So I'm going to move this down out of the way. Now I want to make another repository on GitHub. So go to your GitHub within the account that you've created, and you see this add button. We'll click the add button to create new repository. I'm going to call it the same thing that we have as our local repository. So I'm going to literally copy this. I keep missing the word that I want to copy. Copy this actual repository name. So I'm going to right click, copy. I'm going to go over here, right click, paste. So that's allowed as a repository. Description, we'll call it, this is a test repository. I'm going to make it public. I'm not going to add README. I'm not going to change any of this. I'm just going to click create repository. So there are some things that it tells you how to do. You can create a new repository on a command line, kind of like how we did. But the only part we want is we want this remote add origin part. So I'm going to copy this line, right click, copy. We're going to go to our Git bash. We're going to right click, paste, and press enter. This has now linked the remote repository and the local repository together. So if I now do git remote space -v, it will give us all the connections that we have. We got origin for doing fetches and origin for doing push. So what we actually want to do is we want to do the next step, which is git push u origin main. Now, you'll see that we may have a problem here, but that's fine. Let's move forward. Right click, paste, press enter. We're just going to do a git push u origin main. Notice how now we get this little pop-up here saying sign in. So we can say sign in with browser. So we can click on sign in with browser. It will authorize Git credential manager. Notice how before when we installed GitHub, we chose to include the GitHub credential manager. So now authorize Git ecosystem. You're then redirected. A string bind is invalid. It's giving us an error. Okay, this is why I said we'll have some problems. So now what we can do is we have a look and it's going, okay, total blah, blah, reused, delta compressions. It's apparently done it, okay? It gave us an error though. But now if we refresh the actual GitHub page, we have pushed the changes to our GitHub repository. Like I said, remember we was expecting that error. Let's make another change. Let's go notepad readme.md, make a quick change, and we have pushed it to our repository on github.com. Well, sorry, and, not ands. And now file, save, close, and now I'm going to do a git status. Notice how we got modified thing, but it's not added. So again, git add readme.md, git commit pack m, speech marks, updated the readme.md file. We've now committed with 2 insertions. Now we can do a git push -u origin. This time it's not popping up and asking us to authenticate. So at this point, we can actually ignore that previous error. That was just part of the GitHub and Git ecosystem. Now, notice how it hasn't changed yet, but if I refresh this page, it will pull up the new stuff that we've done, this repository, and we have pushed it to our repository on github.com. So we've managed to update our repository. So in conclusion, we've managed to create a new repository previously. We've managed to now do commits and push to a remote repository after creating that one on GitHub. This concludes our video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.